Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Did the soil match? Could microscopic DNA, plant material, or fibers connect Nancy Guthrie's home to a vehicle or even reveal a second location investigators haven't publicly yet identified? Tonight, we're going to be going inside one of the secretive parts, I guess you could say, of the Nancy Guthrie investigation. The search warrants and the sealed probable cause affidavit and the evidence investigators may have been seeking. What convinced a judge to authorize the searches with the probable cause and the search warrants? Why were two search warrants reportedly served involving Luke Daley? Why was his Range Rover seized and processed? And why are investigators examining all of this when they visited Annie Guthrie and Tommaso's home and processed a family vehicle? What were they searching for? Was it Nancy's DNA, hair, fibers, soils, vegetation, phone location data, vehicles, navigation records, and the missing doorbell camera? We are going to go step by step, very, very meticulously through everything tonight. So gather around. We have a lot to talk about on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace.
Sing it if you know it.
Pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong. But honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turn my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me stand. Judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth.
Hold up, lights on, chat in the room, another late night and another headline blooming. Coffee gone cold, but the story got heat. And one little detail keep tapping my screen. Coming in clutch, when the timeline bends. We don't just scroll, we connect loose ends. Somebody said, nah, that's probably enough. But the chat said, Justin, we're coming in clutch. Run that back, don't rush that part. Something felt wrong from the very first start. Different day, same shaky excuse. And the math ain't mathin' when we check the proof. I'm not here to play detective for fame. I'm here when the story starts changing names. One clip, one call, one post too much. And the whole room knows we're coming in clutch. Coming in clutch. Yeah, the facts stay loud. Truth don't hide when we bring the crowd. Screens lit up and the chat don't sleep. We dig real deep where the stories get steep. Pearls in the chat, lights in the back. Somebody better explain why the story went flat. You can dodge one question, maybe dodge two. With the internet clock, what you said don't cue. Wait. Say that again, you said it was there, then it wasn't back then. You said you forgot, but the record got saved. Now the chat's wide awake and the room just changed.
Coming in clutch when it all gets strange. When the facts get buried and the tone starts change. We don't need drama, the truth does enough. That's why they pull up, we're coming in clutch.
Late night crew, yeah, we built this thing. One live stream turned to a whole damn ring. Members in green minds holding it down. Whole chat moving like a small town crowd. No fake hype, no lazy spin. Just one more clue when we're back again. If it don't sit right, we don't let it slide. We put the detail right up on live.
Coming in clutch, say it one more time. Whole room locked on the very next line. From the first red flag to the final touch. You know where to be, we're coming in clutch.
When the screen fades out and the night gets still, somebody somewhere knows truth comes real. We'll be right here when the next facts drop. Coming in clutch and we don't just stop.
Bam. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so very much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is August 9th, 2026. It is currently 7:28 p.m. on the east coast of the United States. Bonjour. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. We are talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, and we are deep diving tonight into all the questions that I can possibly think of, at least for this live stream. We got a lot to dig into. About evidence that's out there that could be possible. Again, the biggest questions that we're going to really be looking at is why the search warrants? Why the search warrants into Luke, Carlos, Annie's home, all of them. And a lot to dig into. I don't even know where to start really tonight. It's going to be one of those. So make sure you get comfortable and get your favorite beverage, snack, or whatever, because we got a lot to talk about. Before we do that, if you guys would be so kind and please do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button, would greatly appreciate it. And if you would share this live stream out, hit that share button, copy that link, drop it in any of your favorite social media. And if you would consider hyping this video on YouTube, you get 3 hypes a week. If you don't use it, you lose it. Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. I apologize. I'm trying to get things loaded here. I'm a one-man band. And so if you would consider hyping the video, you get 3 hypes a week. If you don't use it, you lose it. So you have to do it after the live stream on your mobile devices, your phone, your tablet, anything that is mobile. Okay. Also, tell a friend, tell a family member, say, go to Clutch Them Pearls, subscribe, hit that bell, all of that stuff. It's good to see everyone in chat. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you, Tanya. Thank you for the gold coin. My darling Miss Donna, thank you for the gold coin. Tanya, thank you again for the gold coin. Appreciate you. Jerry Lynn, thank you for the sparkles. Clippy, thank you for the gold coin. Kim Chi, thank you for the floating heart. Jennifer, thank you for the sparkles. Lisa, thank you for the A makeup brush. Appreciate you. Lazy Days got to keep you fueled up. Thank you so much, Lazy Days. Appreciate you, babe. And Jen in Georgia, coming in clutch at 2 whole years. 2 trips around the sun. Justin, thanks for all you do. Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much, Jen, for your continued support. I couldn't do it without you otherwise. Patty, thank you so much for the gold coin. Good to see you. You are not a moron. It's just where the chat is, and you have to like slide over a couple dots, and then you can hype it. It's got to be on your phone or your tablet though as well. Leslie is keeping it real on our Kick. Make sure you guys subscribe to our Kick channel, because I'm going to be over there sometimes when I'm not on the tubes. I'm going to be doing a lot more over there pretty soon as well. Good to see you, Jody, Lolo, Susan, Leslie, keeping it real. There's my YouTuber, Miss Shari. Good to see you, Robin, and Lolo, Pam. Good to see you, my doll. Robin, good to see you, Sharon. Hello, the only little Texas tornado. Jen, thank you so much, my darling. Good to see you. Good to see everyone rolling up in here. Before we do that, I like to get the smaller things out of the way. And guys, they just solved a case. And I wasn't even going to talk about it today, but it's in the news right now, and it kind of reminds me of Nancy as well. Mama Bear, good to see you, sweeties. Thank you so much for renewing your membership, my dear. Really, really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hello, Canadian Nana. Good to see you. You just rejoined. Yes, you did. Thank you so much. Hey, Carmelita. Good to see you. By the way, okay, so let me just tell you guys, man arrested in 1994 cold case unaliving of 85, 1 year older than Miss Guthrie, 85-year-old neighbor who was found dead outside of her home. Now, technology was different back then. We didn't have smartphones or anything, but she was found outside of her home. But again, it was someone close, which it normally is, right? You are far more likely to be unalived by someone that you love or know, right? And the reason is because most people don't care, right? Most people just don't care. It usually takes something that, people's got to care to generally unalive you, unless you're like a serial unaliver or something like that. But look at this, guys. Watch this. I just want to show you this because it makes me, again, I kind of think of Nancy.
Case decades after a woman was found dead outside of her home.
KOLD.
Now made an arrest.
Fox 12's Vinci Barra has details on the case and what it took for investigators to finally find a suspect.
Well, it's been nearly 30 years since Vita Hardebeck was found dead outside of her home. Tonight, through new funding and a lot of hard work, the Washington County District Attorney's Office says they have arrested the man responsible. A cold case in Washington County is now warming up after an arrest. On February 16th, 1994, Vita Hardebeck was found dead on her Gaston property. Hardebeck's death was believed to have been an accident, but the coroner's office later ruled it a homicide. The victim's daughter spoke to Fox 12 in 2025, and she says her mother was beaten to a pulp.
They did everything they could at the time and used all the resources that they had, spoke to witnesses, collected evidence, took photographs, all the things you would expect in a typical investigation, but the case remained unsolved.
On Tuesday, the Washington County District Attorney's Office says 66-year-old Rando Joseph Gall was arrested after a grand jury issued an indictment. He's now facing a second-degree murder charge for Hardebeck's death.
He's someone who lived in the area at the time.
Last year, new light was shed on the case after the DA's office secured a grant through the Oregon Cold Case Investigators Association and Brothers Car Collection. With extra funding, investigators were able to get advanced DNA testing and analysis, which the DA's office says helped investigators link Gall to the crime. As the suspect awaits his future, the district attorney wants the community to know he'll continue to fight for those seeking justice.
It's a crime that happens this week or a crime that happened last year or 10 years or 20 years ago. If there's a way that we can solve that crime and prosecute the criminal and get some justice for the victim, we're absolutely going to do everything we can to move in that direction.
And the suspect is being held in jail without bond.
She can rest
He's
in
expected
peace
to be
now,
back
maybe.
in court on Monday. In Washington County, I'm Vince Ibarra, Fox 12 Oregon.
Yeah. Isn't that something? I pray to the good Lord that it does not take this long for Nancy. DNA wasn't what it was in 1994, as it is today, obviously, but nonetheless, it's interesting. So I wanted to show you that. Let me see if I can find the picture of that. They didn't show a picture of him. Let me see if I can just show a picture real quick before. But a neighbor, right? A neighbor. And man arrested in 1994. Cold case. Is that him? Okay, he's 66 now. So he would have been, he's 66, 56, what is it? In his 30s then. He'd have been in his 30s back then. Interesting. All right. So let's talk about this as well. The guy that unalived his girlfriend as well not last night, but we talked about last night. I think he's back.
Extradition from Germany after police say he murdered his girlfriend. Tucson police say 20-year-old Varun Bachigari has been arrested by federal authorities in Germany on suspicion of killing.
I wonder if he was on the pew pew list with the FBI when they were looking at Nancy. Remember, they were very interesting names. Bachigari. Now that's a South Asian or Indian name.
His girlfriend, 19-year-old Julissa Salazar. On Thursday afternoon, Tucson Fire found Salazar dead in her apartment with obvious signs of trauma. As they were investigating, they found that Bachigari boarded a flight to Germany that same day with plans to continue back to his home country of India. Working alongside the FBI, Tucson police were able to arrange his arrest on arrival in Germany. TPD is charging him with first-degree murder and kidnapping as Bachigari awaits extradition back to Arizona. We'll keep you updated once he appears before a judge here in Pima County.
Okay. All right. So those things are out of the way now. I wanted to bring you those. Also, there has been there's been things that people put out regarding Nancy's home being sold, and I don't think that's what's happening in this as well. Rescue Dog Mama, thank you so much for the flower, my darling. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Look at this. So True Crime Inc. She or they ended up emailing the public information officer from the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and they say they emailed back. Thank you, Pickle Me Elmo. Good to see you, babe. Thank you so much for the floating heart. Really appreciate that. Well, they say the following here. Nancy Guthrie, death certificate. There's a lot of things with death certificates and all of this stuff as well. Death certificates, selling the home, all of this. And we talked about this last night. Guys, just be very careful who you believe in some of these things. I don't know who originally said this or whatever, but I don't really have time to watch a lot of people. But reply Nancy Guthrie, death certificate, hello. The first one is inaccurate. The investigation remains ongoing. When there is a significant development in the case, it will be shared publicly. We have not been made aware of any sale of the property. You would have to check with the family, right? Angelisa, and that is coming from Angelisa Carrillo, Public Information Officer, Communication Manager, Pima County Sheriff's Department. So yeah, I wouldn't put too much stock when it comes to thinking that it would be entirely too quick to sell this home right now. Why would anyone want to sell it, especially, like the family and stuff? Because we don't have Nancy's body yet. It hasn't, like I said, been long enough. Now the FBI, of course, they can, when this does go to trial, and if it hasn't been a significant amount of time, they can declare her dead if they have enough for, they'll want to make sure that they can't argue, well, Nancy could be in the Bahamas right now, or something like that. So they don't need money. It's their childhood home. Yeah, it's been in the family for a long time, right? But there is some things that we need to talk about today. Okay. Oh, another thing that's interesting is now Nancy did put it on the market for a while at some time, and it was, I want to say I think it was 2024. It was just like, it wasn't too long ago, and it was right the time, if I remember correctly, it was right at the time, was it when Annie had her jewelry shop? Do you know if A is in Vermont and T is in Italy? I've heard that Annie is in Vermont, and I do not know about Tommaso. Okay, so what I want to get into today is talking about these search warrants, because it has really been racking my brain. And when we look at this, the reporting is we just don't know which way to go, right? We just don't know which way to go. Thank you for the floating heart, Pickle. Appreciate you, babe. So, they've done at least 3 different search warrants outside of Nancy's home, right? They've did the Daley home, they've did Carlos, and they did Annie and Tommaso's home. And we don't know if there's any sort of connection there or what, but why, right? And I want to kind of talk about, let me see if I can get my stuff here together. I want to kind of talk about, first of all, what's inside of a search warrant, right? The hidden lead, like they've got these sealed, and that's very important, right? What makes up a search warrant? First of all, they have to do a warrant application, and that is what law enforcement asked the judge to authorize. not only in, I think, the Daley case, they also had the Pima County sign off on it, a judge or a magistrate, and who else was it? I can't remember on that. I'll get back to you on that. But they need a probable cause affidavit. The facts investigators use to justify the search, right? And it can never be just because I think something might be in there, right? That's very important. They need an exact place, an exact vehicle, an exact device, an exact account, or a person to be searched, right? So you can get search warrants for every single one of those, which is probably what they did, right? They definitely got a search warrant for Luke's home that he resides in and his vehicle. And whether, I'm sure they did his phone and everything else. Now, we recently know that Luke had, which I've shown you guys, had the search warrant to his DNA. And that was in May, which is very, very interesting, right? But there's categories as well of evidence that officers are authorized to seize. It's got to be very specific, which we will get more into that here in a little bit. Let's see here. Property inventory, items reported taking during that search as well. Now, we've heard that they did not get a copy of why they were interested in that search warrant, which is interesting. And allegedly, they still haven't got it yet back today, right? But whatever they took out, and that's one of the questions I always found very interesting from Luke and Mary, because the reporter, she asked them, well, what did they take from your home? And neither really of them wanted to answer that, right? And it's like, well, even if they don't give you the search warrant, which 90% of the time they normally do, they have to give you an inventory of what they took from your home, right? Let's say they took a shirt. They'll give a description of that shirt. If they took a phone, they will give a description and serial number of that phone as well. And neither one of them really answered that, and that makes me suspicious. The only thing we know that they ended up taking of Luke's was the Range Rover, right? And that's because he couldn't say anything other, we knew that he went in the house and they took his Range Rover. That's obvious because it was on the news. Thank you, Susie Q, for the finger heart. Appreciate you, my dear. Good to see you. Same Sherry Perlman, even funny by herself. Yeah. It's very sad. So they need to give a something, an inventory slip, right? Arizona laws requires that officers to return the warrant and provide a written inventory of seized property. Federal Rule 41 requires a return and inventory process of federal warrants. That's a law. It's a federal law. and Arizona requires that as well. But they said they never got that back. Sometimes police don't want you to have that because they don't want you to know, like, what they're looking, why they got that probable cause, so you don't hide evidence or whatever. When it comes to the estate, the relative must wait the statutory time frame to 5 to 7 years. Generally, yes, to have the person declared dead, it will either go to a power attorney or conservatorship. Yes, that's in a standard. You're absolutely right. However, what did I just do? Okay, sorry. I don't know why it's doing this. 1 second. However, oh man. Okay. Sometimes they can, if this is going to trial and they have enough evidence to show that someone is dead, they can, and probably will, the federal government will say that she's likely dead. Okay, moving on here. What can a search warrant reveal? Right, search warrants can reveal quite a bit, right? And what in the affidavit as well. Possibilities. What cause investigators to focus on the location, vehicle, and account of the individual, right? So one thing, and we do hear about this about Kayla Day, Luke Daley's alleged ex-girlfriend, is a witness statement or tip. And that's very important, right? I do think, just an opinion, we don't know this as a fact, but I do think Kayla Day did say something to law enforcement that would help her. Because she was picked up, the day before Luke, or the raid, and they can give a tip, right? But they have to show something. Like, Kayla couldn't have went and just said, hey, Luke did this, right? Or Luke's friend did this. They're going to say, no, we need some receipts, as we say on the street, right? We need some receipts on that. And, there can be witnesses as well, right? Neighbors can say, we saw, I was outside at 3 a.m. and I saw that, Jeff, my neighbor, was out in Nancy's yard as well. I wonder, given Nancy's health issues, if the family had both medical and legal power of attorney over her medical and business decisions, or they had signing power of her bank accounts already. That's definitely something they're going to look into. I would think so, because if they were caring for her every day, right? I would think that they would have already had that stuff taken care of. But you would be surprised a lot of families don't. If Kayla knew something and said something, there would have been charges by now with Luke. You think? I think I don't necessarily agree with that. I think sometimes, again, law enforcement can know someone did it, but they need to fix the middle, if you will. They need to get everything in place before they arrest someone, because that's when the clock starts ticking, right? That's when the clock starts ticking. What establish probable cause to get for them to get in there, right? What evidence was authorized? What property was seized, and why is the affidavit sealed? Why is this affidavit sealed? They're not sharing anything on this, and they can cite, well, it's a pending investigation and all of that, but to me it's like, do they have someone that they are spooked? They don't want to spook, right? Curious what was in the evidence bags when they took out of RR before towing it. Yeah, a lot of people thought, oh my God, Nancy's in there, but I didn't really ever think Nancy was in there. I didn't think Nancy was in there, but I thought something, could be. So, anyway, let me get to this right here. What investigators, what might investigators have been authorized to seek, right? And like I always say, it's who, what, when, where, why, and how. All of those things have to fit. All of those things have to fit. Who controlled the target, right? What evidence was sought? When did the lead develop? Why did a judge or magistrate approve it? And how could this advance the case? Because they have to say, we need to break someone's rights and go into their home, violate their constitutional rights as an American citizen, because this might advance the case more than, which takes a lot, right? Now, why did investigators focus on Luke Daley? Hey, Betty, good to see you, hon. Why did investigators focus on Luke Daley? Let me find my notes here. Because, again, this is very interesting to me. Now, we talk about Kayla Day. Witness. Was she a witness to something? Or did someone, had she talked to Luke or had some type of inside knowledge that Luke was potentially involved in some way, shape, or form with this porch guy, right? Was there something there? You gotta also, like I always say, the 11th, we have porch guy, right? So could have, something, had someone or her friends who knew Luke, or was Luke being helped, or whatever. Allegedly, yep. We went really deep into that before as well. Probable cause affidavits are rarely sealed unless there are multiple suspects they don't want to tip off. Correct. Bingo. Or they are compiling a criminal case versus someone. Ooh, hold on. I think we just got a tornado warning. 1 second. Ooh. McNasty. Okay. It just got bad here all of a sudden. I wonder if Luke knows more. I don't know. I don't think porch guy is Luke. What I can't figure out is why on the 11th porch guy is standing outside on the porch, all up in his mask and everything. Everybody could have seen them at the point in time? At some point in time, and why did he wait? What do you mean? Like, well, I think it was just he was practicing, if you will, going through the motions, a dry run, as we say. Luke could be the driver and drop off perps, in my opinion. Possibly. Okay. I want to get to this right here. Because I have some thoughts on it. If I could find it here. Maybe. Pearl does not like the thunder, man. She does not like the thunder. Kind of freaks her out. Okay, here we go. Nancy Guthrie ransom notes may be fake. This guy, this world-renowned profiler, says case looks more like a burglary gone wrong. I completely disagree with this guy. Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate you, love. Thank you for the gold coin. Spunky, thank you for the silver star. And Carmelita, thank you for gifting a pearl necklace, my darling. Appreciate you very much. If you receive that, make sure you thank our beautiful Carmelita. Listen to this.
By law enforcement, of these 2 alleged letters connected to this case, is an intriguing development.
Just went.
And I think that it's done primarily to stir up interest and hopefully somebody will come forward. I'm not sure that they believe these letters are legitimate. I certainly question the legitimacy of the so-called ransom note.
I don't.
In which the individual, is sending it to a news outlet, saying, this will be a ransom, so on and so forth, talks about we and then breaks into I in terms of pronouns. There were a lot of things wrong with that ransom note, and it raised a lot of questions for me of veracity. And then the so-called, I'm sorry, 6 days later, but she perished. I mean, I don't know any kidnappers that use the word perish in their thing. And there was some discussion about whether some of that might have been created by AI, by whoever's involved with either the hoax or if it was a legitimate letter. I just can't see a kidnapper who, if somebody died because of your actions, is now going to expose themselves again, to an apology, plus whether they would even feel, that given what they just did. So I have problems with these letters in terms of their veracity and legitimacy, and I understand why law enforcement needs to investigate these.
Yes, yeah. I completely disagree with this guy personally. Nicole says, Google News said that the decision to release the ransom notes has brought in some more tips. Maybe perhaps someone recognized the writing style or something random in the notes that connected to the point of interest. Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's very distinct, for certainly, right? The text, but I will promise you, it is not AI written, and it is not. It could be like AI written and then typed, but it's not copied and pasted. That's for sure. And it's not a translation either, because we did a lot of work on that the other day in the other live. I wondered when LD had the accident that totaled his car a week prior, and I want to know about a damn rental car, right? Or was he using his mom's car, his brother's car? Do they have an extra vehicle? State Farm came and picked up that one vehicle. Remember that? They came and picked up that one vehicle. All right, now I'm getting ready to pull something up. Let me find it here. Just bear with me.
And it is a strategy that has worked. You look at Ted Kaczynski, and putting that out there on the Unabomber case is what led to it being resolved. So they need to put that out there. Maybe somebody does recognize something unique in these writings. There's always that chance, so why not? But even more importantly is the investigative angle of let's just get back in front of people again. Somebody might be thinking differently about it that knows something, and maybe now they'll come forward. So I guess for me, I don't think the ransom notes, the ransom note and the 6-day I don't think the ransom note is legit. And
date and timestamp at 8:07 p.m. August 9th, 2026. He's wrong. I don't think they're legit as in, but I think they did come from the person that knows about Nancy, right? Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit more about these search warrants, but let me show you this. Right, this is, I have to cover up his pew-pew here. Guys, look at this mofo's lips. I was just looking at this while that was playing. Look at those lips. That is not fucking Luke. It's not. It's driving me nuts. Look at those lips. It's not Luke. But who is this? Do you think that the FBI and Pima County got it wrong with Luke? You got to look here in the corner. Right there. Right there. Watch this. Now look at his lips right there. Look at that right there. Oh, I got the live investigator thing on it. Shit. Sorry, guys. There he is. I think it could really be him. See, that ain't Luke, though. That ain't Luke. It looks more like Enrique. Not a Luke. Or something. Look at those lips. Look at those lips right there. Luke has got... Okay, so but I want to show you guys... Let me pull up Lukey Luke here. I've got a picture of him real quick. Right here. Here's Lukey Luke. Look at those lips. See the difference? The corner. Look at Luke's lips, and then look at Porch Guy's lips. But look at those knuckles right there as well. Look at those knuckles. You're looking in the right, I think it's the right-hand corner, right here. There's his lips. Right there. Bear with me 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. You see the difference right here? This in the corner of Porch Guy's lips. Now look at his fingers. Oh, well, let me find it. Look at his fingers here. Look at his knuckles. Let me take this down of Luke. Right. Look at his knuckles here. You can see his knuckles here. I don't know if his hands are as big as, and he's just got more gloves on here. When did Luke buy the car they towed? About 6 days prior. Justin, if you've got a tornado warning, you probably need to put... Well, if I hear an alarm, I'll go. You know. Thank you for the high five, Drag Time. Appreciate you, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you, love. The perp also has a tattoo on the inner wrist, I believe, as well. See, I don't necessarily believe that. I don't necessarily believe that there's a... Hold on 1 second. Wait a second. Did I just see something? What the fuck? Hold on. Wait. Okay, it just... 1 second. Okay, no, it's good. Thank you, Maritime. Good to see you, love. Good to see you, my dear. Thank you so much. No, Sunshine, I'm not. Baby Kisses, you're the one that showed us. What's that, Baby Kisses? I thought it was a watch. You should check to see if you have a green sky. It's pretty bad outside right now. My electric just flickered just a second ago. Okay, so let me pull this up right here so I can show you what we are talking about. This is what we are talking about. Okay. So let's go to... I want to talk about trace evidence, right? I want to talk about trace evidence. Is there... Yeah, I do, Leslie. Yeah. Is there a ring on the pinky? A lot of people ask that. I don't know. I've went literally frame by frame. But look here. You see like these, you can almost see, you see like these little spots and stuff, like these little things on his gloves. Just because you're wearing gloves does not mean you're safe. It does not mean you're safe. Yeah, you might not show fingerprints or whatever, but there is trace evidence on everything. Everything. The other day, we were talking about if this guy was here the 11th. It'll show it. Right there. This guy was here the 11th. You know, where did he store this clothing in that 2 weeks, right? Looks like white lint. Yes. And they can check the trace evidence. And that trace evidence is important. And for instance, if you have a wool sweater, right? And you were wearing it that night, whatever fiber of clothing, they will be able, and if they get this articles of clothing or whatever, they will be able to check this. He's got calluses. You think so, Horsey? They will be able to check to see if this has transferred over anywhere. And then I go to, and I think about Annie and Carlos. Annie and Tommaso, rather. Annie and Tommaso. Thank you, Sandra. Good to see you, my dear. Appreciate you. Thank you, Sandra. If he double gloved, it is more likely to tear. Maybe. You can see through them in one spot unless it's a reflection. I think it's in my opinion, this is a brand called a Venom. I think it's Venom glove. Let me see if I can find that. Venom. gloves. Home Depot and then sells them. Right here they are. I think it's something like this. Venom gloves. These are much stronger gloves as well. Your body, absolutely. Hairs, fibers, all of that. Sin for short. Thank you so much for the alert, babe. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you, love. They definitely got a lot wrong in this case. I still say it's A&T in my opinion. I don't know. Yes, they're definitely black latex gloves. I've actually bought these gloves in the past, and they're really strong. They're really strong. My dad said not double gloved. I think they're probably double gloved. I do think he's probably double gloved. I think he's got at least 2 articles of clothing on. And, you know, just look down here. Look right down here. Right, you see he's got... I almost wonder, does he got like some sort of band here to keep from... Or does he got it over his... the end of, you know, so there's no hairs or anything that falls out. Oops, I accidentally deleted someone's message. Didn't mean to. It's okay. It happens. It happens. You think A paid someone to do this? Maybe not T. Maybe. It's possible. Can you compare Zaxxers to the crazy buck? I'm working on something with that, babe. I am. I promise you. I'm working more on that. Let me see something. A lot of people talk about this right here, right? They think, I think it's either a shadow or just something. Then some people think he's got a ring. Oh, doesn't Tommaso wear a ring? I don't think this is Tommaso at all. You know, that's what I said. I know a lot of people do crazy. Trust me. I do. Hold on a second. Sometimes you can just get something, you can see something just brand new. What is that part of the, is that like a bungee string? You can see right there as well. Look at those legs. He is like slightly bow-legged. They should have taken all of that. Look at those shoes, man. I wonder what size shoes he wears here. I think he's bow-legged too. I think he's slightly, but I think most men are a little bow-legged sometimes. They say palm prints are unique, and that's part of where you can see his love line and lifeline, and that looks like the light fixture was taken down. Light fixture. When does a semi valet pile move when you're going back up the stairs? They said a 12 Bigfoot for height. They said a 12 Bigfoot for height. What do you mean? Most men wear a what? A size 10? Anywhere from a 9.5 to 10, somewhere like that. See, I think he's got big hands. Annie, the guy, is Tommaso. Annie weighs more than Tomato. I think he has a heavy ass backpack. The tiles are 12. Oh, that's a good thing. Yes, the tiles are 12 by 12, right? You could probably, let's look at that. Very good. Very interesting. Let's see here. Let me see when he goes back out here. When he's stepping out. Look down there. Look down there, right there. So he's got his foot over it, right? Let me see. But it's probably will cover about one of those tiles. So his foot would be a foot. His foot would be a foot. Yeah, I think he's probably doesn't seem to have extra wide feet or anything like that as well. Right? Okay. So what investigators' probable cause based on something that happened at Nancy's home or somewhere else? Were they searching for Nancy evidence or transportation or evidence of planning, right? Could a vehicle's location history identify second sight? Now we're going to talk about soil and vegetation samples compared to areas searches later. Looks like a size 9, Mohawk says. I'd say probably maybe a 10, 10 and a half. So, we've seen forensic DNA where someone will take a body and they'll, if they travel to a certain area, well, there's unique things in every area, right? Certain plants. Lord have mercy. I might have to go, guys. I don't know. Let's see. Lightning is really bad. Am I still alive? It's going in and out. So, okay. Here's this as well. We should be back on now. Let me just check something. 1 second. See how long this is going to last. I think we should be okay, hopefully. I don't think it's going to last very long, hopefully. It's just bad while it's here. I want to know what's in that book bag. Yeah, we all do. We have unplugged most things, thunder like crazy and lightning. That I hate that. Yeah. Okay. Wait a second. 1 second. He looks so evil there. You see the eyes? Oof. With the reflectors. Do y'all see small holes like maybe a cactus pricks his glove? That's very interesting, right? It's very possible. What kind of plant is that plant right there? Is that what they call a yucca? Is that what that is? An agave or yucca plant? They're very sharp, which plants can be very sharp, especially like if you're pulling them with just some rubber gloves. The lightning was insane here earlier, scared me so bad. Lightning scares me too. I scream like a girl. Which is very possible. Agave. Okay. I thought it was a yucca, but I don't know plants. It's either yucca or agave. I think they're pretty much the same. Justin, just a thought, maybe he come there on the weekend because somewhere he lives that won't notice him leaving the home, leaves his phone there at the home. Very possible, very possible. But one thing I was going to get to, that, you know, if you're committing a crime, right, and people think, well, if you don't take your phone, you know, they can't track you or whatever. But then there's circumstantial evidence, right? They can argue, well, when's the last time porch guy has left without his phone, right? If it's not a pattern of behavior for you, then you should question it, right? So let's say porch guy doesn't take his phone. Well, they're going to look back and say, well, when is the last time porch guy did not take his phone? And why on this night, right? Is he normally in this area on the weekends, right? Or has he ever been in this area before? Has he ever been at Nancy's house before? And if he has been at Nancy's house before, when is the last time he actually used his phone there as well? There was a pew. There was of his shoes, not that kind of pew. Okay. Of his shoes that looked as if you could see his toe, almost like their individual toe sneakers. Someone else had mentioned seeing his toes as well. I'm not sure if it's in that video. Thank you, Patty, for the uncle alert. Appreciate you, babe. Really appreciate you. Good to see you, Miss Patty. He pulled the plant to wave it in front of the camera to free it. You think so? Yeah, well, the agave and the yucca plants, don't they make a fiber out of them or something like that? Because they're really strong. And maybe that was a walkie-talkie sticking out of his jacket. Something is, for sure. I think covering the camera with the plant was 2 weeks prior. He acted shocked there with the camera. No, I think this is the night that he tried to cover it up. He didn't have his backpack or anything the 3 weeks prior. This guy is dope, grabbing plant parts to cover up the doorbell. I mean, to be so prepared, right? To be so prepared, it just shows you that even if you are prepared, you're never prepared for everything. How do we know in the video that the thumbnail was taken? They weren't timestamped, right? No, they're not timestamped, but they, according to the new Pima County thing, it says that it was likely prior. I'm back. I think I am. If you wave an object close to the camera like that, it freezes it, and it can trick the algorithm to see if it freezes the camera because he was about to carry Nancy out. I don't think it's anything like that. Oh, did y'all see this? Did y'all see this? Kash Patel put out something new here. I thought it was interesting. I kind of wondered if it was a dig toward Sheriff Doofy.
The time from a critical incident or an event occurring in the field to getting leadership information, not just here, but to the White House and interagency, was up to 3 hours. And we had our team come in here and rebuild that. We said that doesn't meet the modern day threat dynamic.
Thank you, Donna.
And now we're down to less than 60 seconds. We are delivering in live time.
Tell me again what went from 3 hours to 60 seconds?
Our ability to share information as it comes in. There's a shooting in Texas. There's a bank robbery in Ohio. There's a mass casualty event out in California, or there's a wildfire or what have you. And the leadership, not just me, but most importantly, the White House and the president needs lifetime leadership, at least when it's in my remit of law enforcement, to say, this is the information we have. And what it does is accelerates our ability to deploy our assets. Things like our hostage rescue teams, which we didn't even get to talk about, and we'll do it at another time, but they're deploying at a rate that we've never deployed before and rescuing hostages across the country. We're allowed to do that because we're able to get them the information they need to launch in their fixed-wing aircraft and go across the country.
They're able to launch with their fixed-wing aircraft and go across the country. And it's like, you know, a lot of people don't like cash or whatever, you know, but damn, it's not, for me, it's not political. It's, Doofy should have really got out of the way.
Same with our evidence response techs. You know, we have the expertise in collecting evidence, which we work with our state and local partners. We can't do that if it takes 3 hours to get us the information that something happened and what the need is. Now we're down to inside 60 seconds, and we're launching those folks on standby in 30 minutes or less. And that's what the American people expect of this FBI, and that's what this place has done for law enforcement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, found that interesting. I found that very interesting. My camera would alert constantly from leaves in the breeze. Yeah, well, it depends on like how sensitive you set it, right? It can drive you nuts as well. You know, it just depends how sensitive you kind of have your camera, right? So there's that. Okay, let me pull this up right here. I want to go to big city crime inside the red tape. And the Marine was, I think she's part of this channel, right? She talks about something very interesting here. Let me see here. Find this. Just want to pull this little part up. Listen to this.
What is up with, they've got a new lead detective or someone that's in charge of it, and I don't know what the name is. It's being kept quiet, but supposedly they moved a new person in on Nancy Guthrie, and that is supposed to be a really good guy, a hard charger, and by the book kind of guy. And supposedly he's been moved into that spot. What's y'all's thoughts on that?
Well, I got a couple thoughts on that. One is, who did they replace, or who did they move in? Did they replace the lead investigators or the lead detectives, which would be me replacing you two with somebody else, or using you guys to take over a case?
I hope at 6 months, they're certainly, if they don't have anywhere to fucking go on this case, that they're certainly reevaluating it. Patel was only at the scene for 6 hours. Yeah, well, Patel has peoples. He has peoples, right? He's just the director. Gender doesn't decide the foot size. I wear a men 10.5. Yeah, I wear an 11.5, sometimes 12 men's. Like a clown.
Or did they change the person who's in command of the unit? And that could just happen through promotion or retirement or attrition. I mean, but if they changed the lead investigator, again, that could also be because of promotion too. But you guys know this better than anyone.
That's a very interesting.
One of the things
that's very interesting, Blue Bella, right? That's actually very interesting. She says, I believe he had been told that the cameras didn't work, but when he stepped up to the porch, it activated with a light coming on and blinking and possibly a noise. Yeah, sometimes they can say we're recording or whatever. You know, could this guy have been told, for instance, you know, we've got the camera deactivated, or I thought you were going to remove it before I got here. It's very possible. It's very possible. I mean, a lot of people, you know, don't understand why, you know, the plans, because it's like, well, did this spook him for whatever reason? He was shocked for sure. They have a new lead homicide detective on Nancy Guthrie case. Oh, the text, the spelling. Are you doing or Chewy, are you doing voice to text? That would have made it an inside job, though. It sure would have. It sure would have. But, you know, again, think of this. This is the fucking thing that confuses me the most. Is you got cameras inside the house. Like, this person, like, if I was a criminal and I was, you know, studying the outside of this house or anything for a few weeks or whatever, and I went inside and there was cameras indoor, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm out of here. I'd have been like, sorry, it's just after my bedtime. I'm just gonna go. The outdoor cameras is one thing, but once I walked in there and I saw cameras, I'd be like, housekeeping. I'm like, that's all I can tell you. So why can't we see the footage of inside then when Nancy was taken? They don't have it. They allegedly don't have it. They just have thumbnails, certain thumbnails and all that. Right. Right. Exit stage right. Bingo. They got repeat offender, only way anyone so comfortable to hang out. Well, I mean, you got to think about the 40 some minutes, though. It doesn't necessarily mean they were inside the house, right? How long? Yeah, deer in a headlight, exactly done. How long would it take for them to, you know, tear that camera, right? Wait a second. Hold on. I just thought of something. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. Does this guy... Look at this. Let me find it. Does he have that light in the back from outside, from out back? Does he have that light in there? What do y'all think? He had to do something with that fucking light. What? I was just... Let me see here. Nancy Guthrie backyard light. Look at this. Well, yes. A lot of people thinks it looks like a drone. But look at the light. It's like, could look like a drone too. Look at this. Right? Look at this. See, 1, 2, almost looks like 4 different things right there. That could look like that drone. What do y'all think? Everyone's talking about it being a drone in the backpack. I don't think it's a drone in the backpack at all. But I do think it could be this light. About a potential rapist, he would have taken her out to rid the evidence. Oh, I don't think it's that because, and I'll tell you why, Annie. Because rapists don't generally come 3 weeks beforehand. They're usually in the moment. Well, we have, you see, we have this before, after. And in that letter, 2/6/26. Why does it say 2/6/26 and 2/7/26? That's not right. Don't worry about those dates. Don't look at those dates. Yeah, a lot of people have those lights, right? A lot of people think they're drones. I don't think it's a motion sensor. They show there's light still hanging but smashed. Well, it said, what did the letter say? Hold on. Let me look at that letter. The letter said, did it say damaged or taken? I'm trying to remember. Did it say damaged or taken? Because that matters. That really matters. Look at this letter right here. Here we go. Oh shit, this is not the redacted. Got the redacted one, okay. She had a white smartwatch on the floor of her bed and the white floodlight in the backyard was destroyed. Destroyed, it says. Does that mean taken? Or just, you know what I mean? One second. So the cops took the light. Okay. I figured the cops took the broken light. I have them in my backyard yesterday, so I see wildlife. A lot of them have, they have the, a camera on them. Some of them do. Some of them do. When I see Mark the Shark drone footage, I thought it was hanging. Yeah, yeah. So I guess he did not take the light. Why destroy? Okay, this is the next question. Why destroy that one light? Why destroy only one light? What was it about that single light that made him destroy that one light? Let me show you this. Watch this. Okay. Check this out. Okay. So there's a light there. And right here it is. You can see it's... Why only that light? You see what I mean? You can see it's destroyed there. Maybe that was the point of entry. Well, that's the garage. The people only do things for a reason, right? They only do things for a reason. So why only that light? Maybe the other one didn't work. I think Nancy would have them. They would all work. And you got to remember that the doors was open here. I would say easy access. It seems lower than the one she's getting off the roof. Yeah, but you got to remember, like right here. See the light right here? Let me play that again. There's a light right there. This is when they were looking at that camera. Right? It looks like a brand new HVAC system as well. I just don't understand that. He had to do that one for a reason. How variable is the backlight to the neighbors? How visible? Nothing's really visible. Those lights are bright. I hate them shining on me. Yeah. Broke the light so no one can see movement near the back and went out the front. Yeah, but this, from what I understand, like, some people say that this is just... Wait a second. I guess that's a tree. Never mind. Some people say that this is just a room of its own, and some people say it connects to the garage. Why is that laying on the long bench? What is that laying on the long bench? Oh, right here? I don't know what the hell that is. That's a good question. Looks like some type of fabric of some sort. The open door under the roof. Well, remember, these doors were just open. They were left open. Hold on, what is she giving him? Is she giving him the camera there? She's got... Is that a tablet or is that a solar? Probably a solar. She's giving it to him. He's looking at it. He's laying it right there. It could have just been to tell it was broken, to confirm it was there. No. I think the people only do things for a reason. Most people do not lock the door to the house that connects to the garage, and they should if that door was left unlocked. At say 9:50 p.m. that night, then the perp had the pathway inside the house. Yes. Could it be a tarp for the fountain? I guess it could be, but the fountain looks like it's got dirt in it. It's a planter. Or maybe it's just green, but to me it looks like a planter, if you ask me. It took a summer breeze. Yeah, so are we, pink butterfly. How do we know the perp or T left back doors open but took her out front? Well, there's blood of Nancy's up front, right? And so Nancy had to... I don't think she made it out of the house alive. I believe she was carried out wrapped up. Very possible. I tell you, if she made it out alive, she wasn't alive very long. And I don't think it's because she just had a heart attack. In my opinion, I don't think it's because it was just a heart attack. But times change, big door. I hate that noise. Yeah. I always lock the door between my garage and mudroom every morning. I think Nancy would. The Ploughton is a planter. Yeah. I don't know what that is covering up on the bench there. It's weird. It's like green and tan, whatever it is. Whatever it is. I don't know. And then think of this. You see these lights that she has outside? She has them right there. I'm sure she kept the back of her. I thought it might be a tarp for the pool, but her pool's a lot bigger than that. I thought there's a long path of blood in the front yard, and I didn't see drag marks though. There was just blood out on the sidewalk and then in the doorway. Maybe he was going in the back way and putting doors open. I think the entrance was the back door right there. Someone wanted her dead and carried it out. The motive is unclear. Well, they wanted something, that's for sure, right? Something. Okay, let me find this right here. I need to show you this. To go to our next part here. Did y'all see the House of Horrors in Florida? I was going to cover that, but I want to show you this right here. I'm going to go to Brian Ensign right here. Okay, right here. Check this out.
In this episode is my interview with the Wall Street Journal journalist Valerie Bauerlein. And she was one of the journalists who wrote this big expose over the weekend in the Wall Street Journal, really just detailing all of the shortcomings and issues with the Nancy Guthrie investigation, especially early on.
He's going to show a picture
mistakes
here.
that I've talked about that were made for a long time in terms of like inexperienced homicide detectives and the fact that the crime scene was cleared so quickly, but also things that I didn't know a ton about, like the blood spatter at the front door and the fact that they just thought it was dried blood from a previous incident, and also the lead homicide detective who
Wait a second, I just saw something. Is this a storage area? Is that a storage area?
And also the lead homicide detective who had an issue with the previous case pretty recently, which she gets into. So I want to play for you guys my full interview with Valerie. I think you'll think it's interesting. And just the fact that the Wall Street Journal did this story. I mean, like, nothing against me. I know, I'm doing my best and boots on the ground, but there is just sort of a certain gravitas, I guess, that comes with like a paper like the Wall Street Journal digging into a lot of this stuff. And it was a big deal that they did this big Sunday spread, not only on Nancy Guthrie missing, but really being very critical of the sheriff's office and decisions that were made early on. So here's my conversation with Valerie. Hi, Valerie. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining me. I've been an admirer of yours for quite some time with all the Alec Murdaugh coverage that you did. So I was really interested when I saw that you wrote a story about Nancy Guthrie and kind of where things stand. And it's getting a ton of reaction. And I was really interested in your thoughts because I've kind of been, and you know how it is when you covered Murdaugh, like I've been kind of in the weeds on all of it, like every day since it started. So to sort of take a step back and read your story. And I'm just curious,
you still can.
Digging into it, big picture, what surprised you?
No, and vice versa. I'm a fan of yours, Brian, and I just loved the idea at CrimeCon that you're 200 days on the road. You really do a lot of this boots on the ground reporting on these big stories. We just felt like it was such a high profile case 6 months ago, and there were so many incremental pieces of information. It was really hard to figure out where we were in the case. So we figured for our readers at the Wall Street Journal, if you like a lot of lay people in this country that didn't follow every turn of the screw here, what if we just tried to figure out what happened? What were the steps of the investigation so far, and where are we? How close are we to solving the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie? So you and more than many people have done the every, you said weeds, but kind of like trees, every tree, here's the tree, here I am. And we just thought there was an opportunity to say, what does the forest look like? And are we any closer to finding her than we were February 1st?
And what did you find based on your sources? And I know you have a lot of sources. I mean, I've kind of made some good sources on the ground there, but I think you probably have better like federal sources than I do. What did you find?
Me too.
You know, we were very hopeful that we were going to find, this is the new direction that the investigation is in, or this is what's happening behind the curtain that's not apparent. There's so much more going on behind the scenes. But I just, as a human being, I'm kind of sad to say we didn't find that. I think what we found was that through, there was and we saw it with the Murdaugh case, and we saw it with so many of these cases that you cover, Kohlberg and others, your opportunity to get the most and best information you can is that first 24 and 48 hours. And there were so many decisions made in that critical time period that were missteps, bad luck, bad calls, and then some of that information you were never able to recover. So I think it was known that, it was certainly known you filmed your camera operator walking up to the crime scene a couple days after Nancy Guthrie disappeared. There was a lot of coverage of the Domino's pizza guy walking up and putting 3 pieces. So I think that, we knew that the crime scene was not kept pristine the way it might have been in other high profile cases. But that set them really back on their heels. But in fairness, I mean, there were some missteps early on, but there were also some really bad luck, right? There's been no breaks. The FBI is able to kind of miraculously reformat this footage from bits and bytes at
well, they could have got a break if they would have acted faster and maybe got more footage
at Google for the Nest camera that was not in a subscription, but that didn't break it open. And 9 times out of 10, right? I mean, the Boston bomber or Luigi Mangione, that footage gets out in the world and someone says, I think I know, or I think I recognize, or
I truly thought once we got that video, I thought somebody's going to call. We'll have an arrest in 48 hours. Someone's got to know this guy. But it seems like this guy does not have a lot of either family in that area, or it's a very tight-knit group or circle. That's not,
or it would make sense. What if it were this person? And that just didn't happen in this case. So there were sort of like some bad calls, some bad luck, but then also, and I think this is what you and many people who have been following the case recently have felt, a little bit of bad blood, kind of like bad feeling between different parties. And then also this social media phalanx of people that are on the ground filming in the dead of night, or the neighbors have been very upset about things of that nature. There's some, and there's also been some bad information coming out of tips through social. So there was just a combination in our view, and most importantly, maybe this bad relationship, the kind of cross purposes that the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff seem to be at times. So
yeah, how can you get something done whenever your ego is bigger than the investigation?
Mind, it wasn't one thing as far as we haven't found her. It was sort of this combination of bad calls, bad luck, and bad relations, bad feeling.
Yeah, and
So, Creative Soul says that makes sense to say not from the Tucson area. See, I think they are from the Tucson area, but it could be a slip in the note when they said we'll get her back to Tucson. Is this someone who's truly not from Tucson, or is this something that's just trying to throw off investigators? Right, we'll get her back within 12 hours. It could be
What do you
either.
think? What do you think? So.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I mean, I think it's a combination of things. There were clearly mistakes made in the beginning. I was out there and I told you when the crime scene tape was taken down so
Good
quickly,
point,
I thought
Lori.
that was unusual. I mean, I've been at crime scenes before where they'll keep the tape up for 3 weeks and just have someone sitting out there to make sure nobody goes inside. So that was surprising. I had reported that early on, they were under the assumption that she may have walked off or it was some kind of, sort of like accident, and that feeling and assumption lasted longer than it should have. But something new in your story, which I had never really nailed down before, was specifically about the blood. I didn't realize, and you reported this, that they initially thought the blood was, what did they think it was, like old blood, or describe that?
It
that
could
part of
have
your
been.
reporting.
I mean, so
Can you imagine them coming? Ooh, I'm freezing. Can you imagine them coming to the crime scene? The doors are open. She's gone. No hearing aid. Hearing aid still there. Medicine still there. Phone still there. Watch in the floor. The house is tidy, but back doors are open. Camera taken off. Light torn off, and they think, oh, well, this must be blood from the other day, not because there's a crime here.
So Nancy Guthrie had a kind of a phalanx of health problems. She's 84 years old. And one of those problems were heart problems and a pacemaker and things. So is it possible that if she was on blood thinners, for example, is it, if you have a parent or a grandparent who takes those, a nosebleed can cause this profuse bleeding. And I think with the family, as I understand, often comes, particularly when they dropped her off that night, she went in through the garage. And then when they enter the house, it's the back door that we find out later that's propped open. Is there a world where there's some diminishment of that front porch and the blood, particularly since the camera was gone? But I should say, in fairness, you're exactly right about the initial hours of there was deliberate.
Ooh, I just thought of
It took
something.
a long time. The family was
One
saying
second.
she wouldn't wander off. She was mentally sharp as a tack. She played mahjong. She went to Bible study. She read every book that came out, but she was physically weak. And it was a big day for her when she could walk back and forth to the mailbox without assistance. But the sheriff, I mean, in fairness, they get a missing person case almost every day. Either the hikers out there in that desert who get dehydrated or lost, or all the retirees who move out there because it's the air so good and then the quality of life is high. They get a missing person almost every day. And Sunday at noon, you roll up and you think what you have is a zebra, right? It looks like a zebra, but it turns out it's a unicorn of a case, the only open missing persons case in Piedmont County that from 1986, as we understand it, where not just was the person abducted in their home, but she was older than 60 years old. It just doesn't happen. So in fairness, they didn't know that this was a violent abduction.
Yeah, but you gotta
just
take
doesn't
it as
happen very
violent from jump. You gotta take it. It is until it's not. So I was just thinking about this, and you remember how we were looking at that door in the back there, and for instance, let me pull it up like this so you can see me at the same time. Let me take that off, and let me take that off. 1 second. So check this out. So there's the back door back here, right? And some people say it goes into the garage. Some people say it's a room of its own. But let's just, for instance, say Tommaso pulls right up here. He lets Nancy out. The garage door opens. And, you know, the door is up here. She's getting in her door. Even though this is like at 10 o'clock at night, right? What if someone is in this garage somewhere or in that room, you know, just waiting for them? Would they have waited 3 hours? Would they have waited 3 hours? Maybe for her to go to bed? Cheetah, thank you for the loot box. Very sweet of you, my dear. Appreciate you. Good to see you, Cheetah. Thank you so much, babe. Appreciate that. If it was propped open, you would have found... You mean that, like the javelinas? Is that what you mean? I observed many Ellie doing movements with gear, and where most always rest their hands, it's in the middle. The middle of what? Leaving her cane and hearing aids makes the offender's job 50 times harder. Why did he didn't let her get those things? I would have been helpful to him. He didn't know, in my opinion, but you'd think she'd tell him unless... No, but she's 84. You know what I mean? Like, if you're 84, of course you're not going to get around very good. Thank you again, Cheetah. Thank you, babe. You're very sweet. Appreciate you. Good to see you. If you're talking about me, Teflon, that would be a negative. Does the FBI still have Tommaso's car impounded, or did he get it back? They got it back after 40 some days. 2010 CRV. That's right. And that doesn't have the, what's it called? It doesn't have the telematics, the black box. It's got to be a 2015 or older. Whoever took her, if they wanted to keep her alive, they would have taken her medicine. I agree. I mean, you're going to say an 84-year-old who's got a pacemaker and can barely walk, yeah, we'll keep her for 7 days without her medicine. I probably am. It's storming really bad here, thought criminal. Bad here. So
yeah, no, that's a good point. And it is such a kind of just a unique case. Like even a lot of the retired FBI agents I've interviewed have said there's really never been a case like it. But it was a lot of blood though. And you've seen the video. I'm just surprised. I would have thought when they noticed that.
Oh, hold on. We'll come right back to this. I want to show you this. Thank you again, Cheetah. Did they take it the first day? They did not take the car the first day. No, not the first day. But it was pretty early on. Let me find this right here. Look at this. Look at this. This is when they arrive right up here. Just 1 second. This is whenever they arrive at Annie Guthrie's. If she can't hear herself, she's going to talk super loud. Yeah. Perhaps. Ooh, got him buffering. Bad. Sorry, guys. It's the storms here. All right, look at this. This is when they first arrived to Annie's. Like, you can't be doing all this shit and then saying you should be ashamed for asking questions. See, that's so interesting. They were really looking in that garage. That's what's so interesting about that. Like, they were really looking in that garage. And you just don't know why. Let me see here. Am I buffering, guys? And then they go, this is how dark the Guthrie neighborhood is at night. Right here. Thank you, Don, for the floating heart. Appreciate you, babe. And thank you to the other Don for 2 months. Love you, Justin, for all you do. Oh, thank you so much, babe. Appreciate you very, very much. It's very quiet, even with all those people there. Thank you, Chia. Thank you, babe. Oops, that's not Brian Hanson. Okay. And then we have... there's Mark Kelly talking to Sheriff Doofs. Let's see, Annie Guthrie. Why are these not loading? Investigators look at potential vehicles' interest in the disappearance.
Well, there's a lot of infection in there, Timmy. You're doing really well.
Okay, 1 second. They're doing a root canal. Give me 1 second. If you've ever had a root canal, you know. Who would want her gone? 80, the opening and closing of the garage would well be documented on that. Yes, yeah, that's the only time they know that that was open. That's the Circle K. This is the one that's close to her house. Numbnuts needs to get the boot in. Yeah, damn shit. Yeah, exactly. See that camera? Look at how many cameras are in that one thing. There's several different angles. They gotta have something. Thank you, Summer Breeze. Love you, Mama. Appreciate you. It's so pixelated. There we go. We got what, 6 pumps? Oracle. Oracle. Fox did a lot of really good work there. The only time I saw a genuine breakdown of Savannah is when he said in Hoda's interviews, "It because of me, a broke and broken for a minute." Oh, do you mean Savannah? Savannah? She, I feel bad for Savannah. Former FBI negotiators say FBI negotiator returns to scene, signals new focus in Nancy Guthrie case. There's been so much. Expert warns in ransom note search that, quote, a little bit of research, end quote, can mask an IP. FBI search brush behind Nancy's home after amended warrant. Can you imagine walking through that at night? You'd have so many cactus in your ass. We don't have a camera on Savannah 24/7. Oh, absolutely. I believe Savannah's devastated by this. I agree. It's a retaliation against Savannah, who used to antagonize. Oh, I don't think it's that, in my opinion. I mean, it could be against Savannah, but I don't think it's like politically motivated or anything. I don't get what the conspiracies are. Oh my God, look at your Frenchies. Do we know what type of security camera she had? The brand. Well, she had Nest. Doorbell. Thank you, Alabama. Thank you, love, for the floating heart. Appreciate you. I believe the interview that the girl from the island mess started. I believe the interview the girl from the island mess started this whole mess. What am I missing? The island girl. To those interviews with the victims and wanted to follow up. Investigators are watching this, building a strong case against you with the state. Gotcha. I don't think Savannah has anything with her mother's disappearance. No, I don't either. Not a second. I have a cactus on my desk. Keep little hands off. I mean, look at that. That's her backyard. Of my person of interest actually squatting, trying to compare to the porch video where he bends down. Why do you suspect him? Why would you suspect him? Just curious. So I'm getting this right here. Where did you see him at on this article? This is the person I'm interested in. Pick the brain of local poet. Oh, that's interesting. One second. Let me see his lips. When was this? Where did you find him at? Nicole? The connection between the poetry community and also activism. That's the person I'm interested in. Knows Annie also. I can see him knowing Annie. There is pictures of Sideways. Yeah. I haven't shown him yet because I don't want to show him. But I'll look into him. No. There's a picture of this guy who's in an article, and he's from Tucson. According to Nicole, he knows Annie, and he does community like activism and poetry. You can see he's the type Annie would know. Right. I don't want to, John Neal, you can't make me either, so don't worry about it. Actually, hold on, John. I'm going to put some more lipstick on for you. Just give me a second. There you go, baby. That's just for you, John. Okay. Love you. Good to see you, John. Yeah, I am. It's really concerning that the perp texted ANT. Well, No, that's the old guy. That's what's his name? The guy that's Derek Kella. That's Derek Kella. He teaches at many universities and schools, and I sent more recent pics. He's got that tattoo as well. Thank you, Stickler. Kelly. Okay, let me get back to my thing here before hopefully the fucking electric doesn't knock out again today. Okay, because he jacked it up.
It would have immediately sort of kicked them into gear.
You know, and we reported this in the story, but there have been some personnel issues in that homicide division. So it's Sunday, it's Sunday at the weekend. It's kind of, on-call duty anyway, but there had been some turnover in that division, and Sergeant Stivers, who was the head of the homicide unit, soon to be a lieutenant, getting promoted as we speak, had been disciplined in November for minimizing evidence at a crime scene, and to the point, and in several cases. So I think there was some inexperience and maybe some evidence that this was a department in flux, in the homicide division. So I don't want to cast aspersions on anybody, but there were some mistakes were made very early on that delayed realizing this was a violent abduction and then acting
Sheriff
accordingly.
Doobie.
Yeah, and that kind of backs up some of what I found. Like when I first got to Arizona, I realized pretty quickly, just talking to people on the ground and talking to law enforcement, that we kind of arrived and Nancy went missing right in the middle of kind of like some political turmoil with the sheriff. Yeah. He only won by a couple hundred votes. And you mentioned this in your story. I mean, he had a vote of no confidence.
He had a vote of no confidence. He showed up while he just had won political turmoil, won by just a couple hundred. People didn't like him to begin with. His brother died the day before. What could go wrong, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Give them what they want. Give them what they want. Give them what they want.
Most of the deputies.
And half of his deputies in March.
Yeah. And it seems the sense I have is really most of the deputies don't really like him as sheriff. So it's kind of a bit of and I don't know if this is the vibe you got, like it's a bit of a dysfunctional sheriff's office.
When I watched that interview you did with the detective who had left, and he identified some of those issues early on. I did cover the cop beat full time when I was younger. I covered night cops for 3 years, and covering any law enforcement agency, you realize it's a human business too. You're doing a hugely difficult job under immense pressure, but it's all humans in the workplace too. And I think
Call your dad, John.
Yes, he had won. He had narrowly won in November
I wiped it off
24
his
by a couple
pillowcase
hundred
last
votes
night.
in a recount. That in a big place of 1 million people, that is a narrow margin. And he'd been challenged by an insider who he'd sidelined, and he'd also sidelined the head of the union. And there was a lot of bad feeling, and a lot of people were moved after the election. And that, as you mentioned, there was the vote of no confidence in March, just in his performance in general, not the Guthrie case specifically. And the Board of Supervisors as well has had a lot. The County Board of Supervisors, they are not able to, or they tried, but they're not able to strip him of his position. He's rightfully elected, but he's.
Yeah, John's. I wiped it off. I wiped my lipstick off John's dad's pillowcase last night. Terrible.
Had some. He's been on his heels defending his job in
Thank
general
you, Abigail.
for
12
several months.
Appreciate
And that
you, babe.
also, I just think as human beings, creates a distraction within the department.
Yeah, no, for sure. Did you find, and you wrote about this, and I sort of was reading between the lines a little bit of what I think you were trying to say in the article, but like it seemed like initially President Trump and Kash Patel, the FBI director, were kind of gung-ho and like almost wanted to be part of it when they thought that they would maybe be able to help and have a positive resolution and not be able to take credit, but you know what I mean? Almost be like there to say, hey, we solved it. But it almost seems...
I'm going to send you an article. If you can, if you have some time, if you can. Yes. And Becky. We took care of that, though. John will be back, though. I'm sure so will his daddy.
It's like the more time that goes by and the more difficult it becomes to make progress, like they're almost distancing themselves.
Well, you know, it's fine. I was gonna we wanted to talk more about what was happening this spring and into the summer because that's the current timeline, but I ended up I printed this out and put it on my desk. It's just the month of February because so many of the critical decisions were made here. And yes, you're right. She was taken that Sunday the 1st. And President Trump kind of weighs in on the 4th and says, we're going to send all of these federal resources. And then you have He Janke, the special agent in charge at the time, saying on the 5th, we are the cavalry's here. This is a joint investigation. And then that Monday, what we found was that's when Kash Patel shows up on the ground. But you know what's surprising?
Right here.
He showed up on Monday the 9th, but from checking the plane records, you know, all the different records, he was on the ground for less than 6 hours on the 9th, right? So he shows up on the 9th and then the next morning tweets out that bombshell, this big break of the video that the FBI, to their credit, had recovered that no one thought. The sheriff had said it was unrecoverable. And he said...
Yes, that's exactly right. The sheriff, he was not even looking in to the camera. He just said, think about that. He just said it's unrecoverable. He didn't even ask Google. The FBI was the one that asked Google to get in there and look at it, right?
That night on Hannity, you know, I think this has led to some major breaks in 24, 36 hours. I think there may be persons of interest. And in fact, there was an arrest. There was a person who was detained that night and later cleared. But that's it. We really tried to scour Kash Patel, who's the FBI director, obviously.
Hey guys, it's starting to storm here really hard. I'm gonna end it right here because Pearl's freaking out right now. She does not like the thunder. I might be back. It's only 9:30, so I might be back here in a little bit. Make sure you guys are subbed up to my Kick channel as well. Make sure you're subbed up there. She's not liking this storm at all. We got some tornado warnings. And my internet keeps going in and out. So, guys, I'll be back most probably within an hour or so. Hopefully a storm will end and Pearl will chill out a little bit. She does not like the thunder. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Can you, mods, can y'all drop my Kick? Make sure you're subbed up to my Kick account as well. It's very much like YouTube. Very similar. Very similar. All right, guys. Love you all. Appreciate you. Special thanks to everyone in chat. Much love.